Welcome everyone to. Oh, I'm a bit loud. Welcome everyone to round 6 of the Dynamic Nights Esports Masters tier here at Dynamic Nights Esports. I'll say it again. We're looking at a pretty dry qualifying so far. Unfortunately, there is no package this week. I've just been caught up with IRL stuff, and so that extra 5 minutes I got to actually think on the spot. But what we do have is an updated standing, so we'll just toggle to that nice and quickly. So the standings look a bit large. They're not as what BK has done before, but we'd like to thank BK for all of his hard work previously. But if you look on the right-hand side here, all the middle stuff is like a breakdown of the points and how they've progressed throughout the season. But on the right-hand side is the main points. So you've got Amazing Hour still on the top. Obviously, you can see that string of wins, 5 in a row, potentially could even go into 6 this week. But he's on 127 points total, and as well as you can see on Aaron's side, all 18s across the board. Wogboy on 44, so there's a huge leap between second and third. And then it goes to 32 on Jay Banks, 26 Spilly, 24 for Wafer and Hazza, and 23 points for Macastew, and then 14 points and 13 points for Dre and Plev. So there's a huge jump between the top seeds, and then the mid-tier are all reasonably close. But then you go to the rest of the pack, and they're all around the same, a couple points. So even like a P7 can jump you up 3 spots in the standings. You can see that GeForce Giannis has been put into the reserve tab, but he had a successful time. He got 3rd and 4th, I believe, in his time here. But those are the teams right there. But we'll go back to the live action. As always, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Track Racer, CD Keys up the top, as well as Race. We got Razer now. You can check them all on the links down below, as well as our music. And like always, we've got the legend himself, the Smeg, which does all the heavy lifting here, so I'll let him go from here on.
Oh, heavy lifting. It's a shared load, mate. Don't worry about that. I'm not like pulling a massive ball and chain here. I love your camera work and also your input as well. It's very much appreciated, mate. Don't you worry about that. But welcome, ladies and gentlemen, as Alcatraz said, to round 6 of the Masters Championship here on Dynamic Nights Esports. It's time for the United States Grand Prix here at the Circuit of the Americas, a 5.51 kilometer, 20-turn racetrack that was developed in 2012. not many iconic races in real life. The most iconic is probably when Kimi won in 2018. The massive amount of happiness that came from that, seeing the old man win a Grand Prix after it would have been close to 5 years. Last time was, I think, Australia 2013, which was a hell of a long time ago. But that was an epic moment indeed in real life Formula One. But in terms of the video game world, I think this is one of the least like racetracks on the calendar. I'm personally am not a fan of this racetrack. Just driving around it, I find is a bit of a pain. I can't get a really good flow of any of the corners around here, especially the first sector, high-speed S's. It's just, if you make a mistake anywhere, the track just instantaneously punishes you, and it's just really irritating when you get it wrong. So penalties are going to play a massive part here in this race, so we have to keep an eye out for those. But before that, we have to talk about qualifying. So we're heading towards 12 minutes left in the session. Mackenzie Stewart has topped the timesheets thus far, a 1 minute 30.507 on a set of soft tyres. I imagine all of these guys will be qualifying on the soft tyre as well. The strategy around here, I do believe, is a two-stop. It's either soft, medium, medium, or soft, medium, soft. We might see a few drivers try out the one-stop from softs to hards, but the hards are only there if you sort of stuff up in the early part of the race, like you break a front wing, lose a lot of places or something like that. You chuck on a set of hards and you desperately try to go to the end of the race, as Amazing Hour now jumps up to the top of the table with a 1:29.9. He's just beaten Mackenzie by almost 6/10 of a second. That is quite the almighty jump, not going to lie. And anyone get close? My word, like 6/10 already.
6/10.
Okay. I hope someone gets close to those times. Dearie me. The track will evolve, obviously, as the session goes on, so the cars will only get quicker and quicker, but that goes for Amazing Hour as well. So there's time in that lap. Wow, okay. I better keep an eye on him then, just to see how he conducts himself over a lap. Got a couple of drivers on the medium tyre, probably just trying to gauge the conditions, just get an idea of how the mediums will feel around this circuit. 16 drivers as well here tonight, not quite a full field, but it's pretty healthy, so we should get some pretty entertaining racing. Any weather reports from anyone that you've noticed, Alcatraz?
At this stage, I haven't been pinged any notice of the weather, so I'm assuming that it is nice and hot here at Texas. But yeah, we've got 16 drivers on the grid. I think it's the lowest amount we've had throughout this season for Tier 1. But obviously we still have the big names, Aaron and Amazing Hour. But yeah, like you saw, he's already done a 1:29.9, so his pace isn't dropping anytime soon. Doesn't seem to be a dent in his armour at all, really, in these 6 races. Especially in qualifying, he's always been in the front row. But Aaron, he needs to be more consistent in his qualifying. He's done a lot of fighting through the previous races, especially maybe starting from 6th at sometimes, potential and around that area. So he's got to do a lot more work than what Amazing Now has to do, which is usually clean air. So it all comes down to qualifying here, but there could be a spanner in the works. We've seen quite a bit of safety cars in the and all the other tiers this week. People caught out by the pit lane again, like in Abu Dhabi. People just going a bit too hot. As well as track extensions. It's got to be massive here at Circuit of the Americas, especially through the S's of Sector 1. You can cut 2. If you get the line wrong, you can pull 3 seconds in just a couple turns. So it really comes down to the time penalties here today, most likely.
As GeForce Aaron begins his first flying lap, the man who is currently second in the championship after just 5 rounds, he's already 37 points behind, but he's been stupidly consistent, finishing second in every single race he's entered thus far. But let's see how his qualifying will go here in Koto. As Alcatraz mentioned, his qualifying, I guess he would feel, was a bit subpar in a couple of races prior to this. As I'm having a bit of a lag spike here, dear me. Either that or Aaron's having a bit of a lag spike. I don't know what it is. I hope it's just me. But yeah, I'm sure he knows about his qualifying woes thus far and put in a solid performance. I'm certain of it. As he's coming through the third sector now through the triple right hand of 16, 17 and 18 into turn 19, completely blind on entry. You really do have to feel it through there. Oh, and he pulls in. Interesting. So he hasn't yet set a banker lap time, quite just yet. And we have 8 minutes left in the session, so he might be able to get 2 more laps in at this stage. Pretty long out lap and in lap here at Kota. Pretty long lap in general at 90 seconds long, so drivers do have to be wary of the timer. But one driver who has shown some promise in qualifying is Jay Banks. He's yet to set a lap time, currently down in 14th place as he invalidates. That's fantastic. The circuit already bearing its teeth. That's how brutal it is around there. I don't even know what corner he cut or ran wider. I think it might have been
Turn 10.
turn 9.
Yeah, 9 or 10 most likely, eh? As
Yeah,
Codemasters, I think, have given us a new camera angle on the back of the wing, looking forward this time instead of backwards.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Like, it's right on the back of the wing. Like, if you look on board and look backwards, you can't see a camera there at all on that rear wing, but it's there, apparently.
It's there. So, I think they're trying to take a few books out of GT Sport when it comes to unique camera angles. The next thing I want to see from them is like a trailing cam. Like, they've kind of got the helicopter cam, but more towards like the side of the track. It'll be super interesting. But they are trying to emulate where normal cameras would be, especially when they're tracing the cam or even at the bottom of the circuit as we just saw there. So, I mean, I would like to see more camera angles that we can use instead of just toggling between TV pod and the broadcast cam. More variables would be nice, but yeah, like you were saying about Jay Banks' qualifying, he's super quick in qualifying, but it's just if he keeps it valid. Like Australia, he was invalid. Mexico, he got, I think, pole position or in the top row as he invalidates into turn 4. So it'd be just I think it's just going to be one of those days for him once again. He'll probably get a lap once the time has run out, since all drivers can use the exploit. So they can use all the techers that they have available to them. So yeah.
Yeah, because, well, Codemasters still haven't fixed that glitch, which is rather astonishing, but unsurprising, I guess, knowing Codemasters. They tend to leave a few bugs just hidden around the game, just to make sure we all remember that this is a Codemasters game. As Amazing Hour is now making his way around the final corner, he's on his second flying lap. He's up by 2/10 in the second sector. Does a 29.6. He's now, what's that?
9.
Yeah, it's a bit less than
a
9.
little,
it's more like
yeah, round that baby up.
It's a rounded up a bit. It's a 29.7 more or less. So, oh boy.
But yeah, he's cementing his spot into P1 for sure. But two soft runs. He might have the softest set, so we could see him do another run, or he could be happy with that run and just keep a spare pair of softs fresh and fresh mediums as well, just in case. Which will set him up nicely if there is a late safety car, because we had one yesterday, Smeg, in Diamond.
That was interesting.
A late safety car, but it was around 10 laps to go, roughly, but then the rain came. So everyone on softs benefited from that, but it was also loss of grip. Obviously, that race for me was particularly spicy at times. So.
Well, your overtake here at turn 12 was quite interesting on me. I mean, literally going side by side. Just see you shoot off into the gravel trap, just sending yourself into the shadow realm. Like, seriously? Did you outbrake yourself that much?
No, unfortunately I did not. It happened twice in the same spot. Technical difficulties. My all my monitors decided to cut. So, but I knew I had control of it still. But in qualifying it was different. My AI took over, and then parked it on the apex and just stayed there, and I got disqualified from being 7th or 6th at the time. And then in the race, my left and my right one goes first, and then my middle one, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm just gonna stay flat, hoping that no car's gonna turn early. And just go into the gravel trap, and then just turn my wheel, hoping that I'm just gonna drift and not hit the wall, so I can kind of keep like 11 points or 12 points at the end. But yeah, I mean, it was a fun race for me because I mean I got XJ's pedals, so no throttling issues, so it was actually good to actually battle people for the first time in a very long time for me. But yeah, that race was super interesting for Diamond. Penalties was large, except for I believe one driver or maybe two had no penalties. But
Curving one of them, wasn't he? I'm pretty sure.
Curving had no penalties. It's really the sacrifice of, do you sacrifice during like a battle or behind a car, sacrifice a 10th to not get a warning. It's really just how it works. Because if you keep if you keep them maintaining and you stay off and you're off the main line, you will cut penalties quite quickly here. Like going out of turn 10, if you oversteer, that's going to be a warning straight away through the S's. If you mess up your first line, you're going to collect 2 or 3. So and even in the last sector, the second to last corner, if you cut the curb too much, straight away warning. So these drivers have to be quite on their toes, because I feel like it's going to be a penalty win. I just have that feeling.
Like a massive part in this race. As Crossy has thankfully camp though, GeForce Dre is setting his potential final flying lap. He has to deal with some cars leaving the pit lane, which isn't ideal, but they'll pull off to the side, I imagine, so then he can drive on by and set off on his lap, or not. And contact and spin. So did Banks know that Dre was on a flyer? Guess not. Because Dre was on a flyer then. And contact and spin. Dearie me. Oh, and what's this in the first sector? This is like a whole bundle of cars through here. What's this? There's 4 cars all lined up. Is that
starting from Spilly?
Yeah.
It's amazing how
you've got Spilly, you've got Pink Kelly, you've got Mackenzie Stewart, and who's that behind? It's one of the Racing Point. It must be Roscoe, because amazing how he's retired from the session. Oh no, this is Monza all over again, isn't it? It's just people. I don't want to go out in front. I want to tow.
Yeah, and it's also interesting because if the time runs out, all the cars that have finished their lap go into AI, so it's a big risk when it comes down to using that extra time, because the exploit, obviously everyone is available to it, so they can use it, but it's the big risk of, if you get caught up with an AI car, even though the AI is reasonably quick on a high setting, it's still the end of qualifying, so they're going to go really slow. So it's got to be one of those as Crossy gets P2 and retires, so you got a 130.4. So there's only a small margin, really, between second all the way to 7th, really. It's just if you cut down a really good couple tenths.
And I'm sure these guys will be able to find a little bit of time. This is the track in its perfect state, at least for qualifying. Drivers will set their final flying laps now. Mackenzie Stewart is the first of those, if I'm not mistaken. Heading towards turn 1, probably the highlight of the racetrack, a 40-meter climb from the pit straight all the way up to the apex at turn 1. It's quite a big climb. Through the high-speed S's, he nails the apexes quite nicely. 6th gear, goes down to 5th gear and invalidates. There we go. It was only a little cut. It wasn't much, but it's enough. So he won't be improving. 3rd is the best he can qualify from now. See everyone else. Billy currently in 4th place. A solid bit of qualifying from him at the moment. Same with Gaming Wafer. He's currently in 5th place. Bodhod in 6th place at the moment. But he's invalidated, so Bodhod won't be improving his position. Let's see here. It's pretty sure Tao is on the lap. No? Yes, he is. He's heading through turn 12 now. There's Billy just in the background.
Got away with that extension. He definitely did. All 4 tyres were off the circuit, but it was a very friendly area as he locks up. So he's nearly at the end of his lap here, but the big name that I haven't, who hasn't actually set a lap down the bottom is GeForce Aaron, so hopefully he hasn't invalidated his lap in the in the finals extension that he gets here. Because if it was on 0, it's over for him.
Pretty much. So, Tao crosses the line, goes 12. What does Spilly do? He doesn't improve. Hello, Hasmania. You jumped up to 3rd place. Actually, that's equal times between Harry and Mackenzie Stewart. Look at that. That's very nice indeed. Wogboy peels into the pits. ACW is heading up to the final corner now, currently in 12th place, just outside of the 10. He'll come across the line. He'll jump to P10. Very well done. But what can Aaron do? From 15th, jumps up to 2nd place, 1 minute 30.247. Critically, he will start on the front row, right next to Amazing Hour. But looking at qualifying, he's got an almighty mountain to climb in order to try and catch the man in P1. Your man on pole, LR Amazing Hour, with a 1 minute 29.689, almost 6/10 clear of his main championship rival, GeForce Aaron, who qualifies in 2nd.
Yeah.
Wow. Really?
After a very long qualifying for him, he gets it on to P2. So yeah, LR Amazing Hour once again in pole position, 5/10 difference. Wow. To the next car behind. And then Crossy obviously getting, it was Hazamania and Macastew on the same time. But Macastew set the time first. But once again, like it happened in Brazil, he is now below.
Yeah, it's weird how the game does it, but yeah, there you go. Spelly in 6th, Gaming Wasteman in 7th, Bot in 8th, Big Chicken Knife, Wogboy rounding out the top 10, and all of them will be starting on the soft compound tyre. Now let's move on to the race, shall we?
Yeah, as well as all the cars get ready, we'll be right back. Oh, yeah. Always when I go back to the main screen, the replay comes up, so you can see how Spilly messed up Trey's lap once again. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, as they are going around their formation lap, we were just kind of still dumbfounded about the 6/10 difference between Amazing Aaron and Aaron. Comparing that to like Aaron's qualifying last game in Austria, where he did a 1-3.
3-8, I think it was.
Yeah, a 3-8 on that game. God tier.
It really was.
Now it's about like the norm, really, with these new cars.
Yeah. The cars have evolved that much. So it's so much quicker.
But back on that car, oh man. But we can talk about his qualifying, but not about the race. Really, that was a yeah.
It was a race to forget for Aaron, but an exceptional quali session.
Oh, I think it was one of the best quali sessions on the calendar for the tier.
So drivers are making their way around the 3rd final sector. Just looking at the tyres outside of the top 10, ACW, GeForce Dre, VSR Roscoe Arm, and Josh Banks will be starting from plumb last. Look at that, in 16th place. All of them will be starting on the medium tyre. Finn, Kelly, and DNE Tal on the softs. They're trying to get a good start, make some good positions, get some track position off the start, and just try and deal with whatever they have to deal with towards the end of the race. But man, after that lap, that amazing hour did. Oh God. But, you know, that was qualifying. The race can be completely different. So, we'll just have to wait and see. As the drivers will line back up onto the grid, into their respective grid slots, and we'll get this United States Grand Prix underway. The game is saving itself. Fantastic. But here we go. Here at COTA, we've got 5 red lights. And it's lights out, and away we go. And I think Aaron's got a fairly decent start here. He most certainly has. He slingshots up the inside through turn 1. Can Amazing Hour hold it? No, he can't. He can't hold it around the outside. Aaron leads through turn 2. Oh, there's some 4-wide action almost heading into turn 3, the beginning of the S's. Through the S's they go. Everyone seems to have gotten through relatively okay. No front wing loss, nothing like that. GeForce Crossy, though, gets a 5-second penalty, corner cutting, and gaining 1 place. Unfortunately, he'll have to serve that in the pit lane as well when he boxes. Oh, what's this? Towler spun. He's lost a fair amount of momentum. He's now down in 16. Jay Banks collides with ACW at the hairpin. Just a little bit of contact. I don't think there's any damage from it, though. But what an exceptional start from the Red Bull. And
Amazing Hour says
it.
Oh,
Hello.
Gets a bit of side compact up.
And he's centered, but it hasn't pulled off. He's still in 2nd place. Still in behind the Red Bull. In behind them, Mackenzie Stewart in 3rd. Here comes Tasmania, formerly GeForce Hazard. I'm not sure why he has a name change, but there you go. He does, maybe on an alternate account or something like that. He's in 4th place at the moment. Behind him, GeForce Crossy gaining way for a decent start, up 1 position. Spilly in 7th. Wogboy up 2 positions in 8th. Finn Kelly a decent start, up 3 positions in 9th inside the top 10. Banks and ACW are still fighting it out for the positions just outside the points in 11th. That will complete lap 1 of 28 here at COTA as Bodhod might actually set up a move here down the inside into turn 1. They give each other plenty of space, good racing room. Side by side through turn 2. And Bodhod will have the inside line. Will any of these two back out? Or the ACW quite wisely backs out of that then. Bodhod slots himself into 12th place. Looking back up, look at that train. You can see it on the mini-map. All of these guys are within a second of each other. Hopefully it stays like that for a little while. This is good stuff to watch. It's Amazing Hour. He's quite close to Aaron here. There's no DRS quite just yet. It's not quite lap 3. But Aaron, is he using any overtake? No. So the Red Bull seems to have fairly decent straight line speed, perhaps. Or maybe Amazing Hour was running in lower engine modes. I'm not quite sure. Regardless, he wasn't keeping up with the Red Bull down the straight. Predicted tyre stop strategy. So it seems that Amazing Hour is definitely doing a 2-stop. According to that onboard. It's either soft. I think he's gone soft, medium, I think. We'll have to wait and see, though. These two are now starting to pull away just a little bit. And Aaron has now got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, only 2 laps in. And the penalties are already bearing their teeth as Amazing Hour gets a fantastic run out to the final corner. It's side by side down the pit straight. Uphill now, the climb into turn 1. Amazing Hour down the inside. Aaron gets a switch back. Is it side by side action again? No, Aaron pulls out. Perhaps. Maybe not. Amazing Hour probably just got a decent run out of turn 1. And now the dirty air now playing its part. It's quite noticeable on this racetrack when you're really up behind someone. Just all of this understeer. You can see it on the Red Bull. Actually, does he have damage? No, he doesn't. It is just dirty air. Because, yeah, Aaron lost a lot of time there through that first sector. Deary me. Now Mackenzie Stewart in behind in 3rd. Got DRS, not using overtake though, neither is Aaron. Gap slowly closing between these two, so the fight for second might really hot up. Ooh, as Aaron runs awfully wide at turn 12 and gets another 3-second time penalty. Dear, oh dear,
Yeah,
oh dear.
so the penalties are really stacking up here because, like, to race hard like these drivers always do, they are going to use as much track as possible. And Aaron, within 3 laps, has pulled 6 seconds, so he would already drop to the back of the pack. That's how close all the cars are to each other. So, and he's the only driver that's popped up with time penalties. Oh, except for I believe Crossy, who got a advantage through a corner cut, which he will serve in the pits anyway. But amazing, now he's already pulled 1.3 seconds away. So race pace, he's already absolutely flying away. But Makastu is right behind GeForce Aaron at the moment, 6/10 behind. So he'll get him on the DRS straight. But the biggest winner in lap 1 is J Banks once again, because he's just having a poor qualifying. And Finn Kelly and Wogboy as well up 2 places, and Makastu up 2 places as well. Biggest losers will have to go to Bodhod, down 4 positions from him. So he had a poor start off the line and just got swallowed into turn 1. So, yeah, very interesting couple of first laps here.
Indeed. As now Aaron is going to be put under a lot of pressure from the Renault. Mackenzie Stewart. Roscoe Arm gets a 3-second time penalty, so they are really starting to pour on. Aaron having to use a little bit of overtake to try and keep the Renault at bay. Heading down the back straightaway into turn 12. He's not quite close enough to make a move. Hazard and Crossy. Oh, what's this? Billy and Wafer now having a bit of a scrap. Into turn 13. They're keeping it tight. No contact. Billy has the inside line here, but now Wafer will have the inside line for turn 15. The tight hairpin left just before the triple right-handers of 16, 17 and 18. Towel with a 3-second time penalty. Spilly and Wogboy just in behind. Both of them looking racy. Ready to fight for this 6th place. Back towards the front though. I don't quite think Macca is just close enough to attack Aaron at this stage. Oh, but he's quite deep on the brakes. Wow. Got a lot of confidence on the ceramic anchors there. Looking behind Crossy. Not quite close enough just yet. If he can get a good run through the S's, maybe force Hazard into a mistake like that. Gain a bit more time. He needs a little bit more time. Then he'll use the DRS and overtake to try and slingshot by the AlphaTauri's. Wafer gets a 3-second time penalty. Yeah, funnily enough, he mentioned how many, in terms of total seconds, as Macca sends it up the inside at 11. So he's pulled the trigger already. I thought he might wait until maybe Aaron, though. He doesn't have DRS. He couldn't counter-attack there. And Macca, back end stepping in. Looking further back, see what's happening back here.
Yeah, there's a bit of a train from Spilly down. Having, as Finn Kelly gets 3 seconds. Spilly made a move down on this lap into turn 1 and then maintained the position throughout. So, but amazing hour, lap 6, up 3.5 seconds. His race pace is absolutely phenomenal today. Spilly has actually put a fantastic exit on these last couple of, on the sector 3, pulling away and getting actually closer towards Crossy. But Wogboy cutting through the pack.
Then Spilly made a meal. Oh, Astrea's retired in the pits. Okay. Premature doesn't even begin to describe that, considering it's only 6 laps into a race. But I guess perhaps he had something to attend to or something like that. Regardless, he's out. And the first retirement of the American Grand Prix here in the Masters Championship. Sector 1. Oh, yeah, that's a Ferrari going through the pit lane because, of course, the car doesn't despawn because Codemasters thinks that's sensible. There we go. Let's see. Has it set up a move, perhaps? Not quite. The AlphaTauri and the Red Bull, both of them having DRS. Hazard not really able to capitalize being so close to Aaron. Oh, you see that sometimes with this sort of section. Drivers like to send it down the inside, particularly here at 15, I've noticed. Is
Yeah,
like the normal racing line forces you out wide to try and take a nice late apex because the corner sharpens up so much. So drivers can take the initiative and try and send it down the inside just before the apex. But it means you also get a compromised run into the triple right-handers if you do that. But it's an opportunistic move if you go for it, as Roscoe, hello, is completely off the circuit and in the gravel trap, actually. Comes back on. Will we see a safety car from this? No, we won't. Because I've seen some incidents where a driver just simply spins out on the racetrack and the safety car gets deployed for who knows what reason, but it does it. This battle is starting to get a bit more interesting. Oh, as Hazza in fighting GeForce Aaron in P3 has a bit of a moment at turn 9, hard on the brakes into turn 11. See there, Crossy right in behind now. Aaron, Harry, both of them having DRS, both of them. No, Hazard's the only one using overtake. All drivers gaining on Mackenzie Stewart there on the back straight. The Macca with the clear air is able to get so much more speed around the corners. Oh, it has a far out. This man is driving the wheels off this car sideways almost everywhere. Oh, wow. Exceptional car control. To manage to hold it, not spin out. Very good stuff from him at the moment. As Macca and Aaron dive into the pits, they blink. Hard on the brakes, trying not to speed. Pit window is open from lap 8 to 12 to go onto the medium tyre. And that's exactly what these guys are going to do. Aaron onto the mediums, Macca onto the mediums. And who's that in the pits as well? That's Gaming Wafer?
Gaming Wafer, he's also in the pits, yes.
So there we go, onto a new set of medium compound tyres. I think Aaron might have just gained a little bit during that pit stop as well. Not a lot, but just enough. Now, almost onto the back of Macca's gearbox, but Macca will start to pull away through here. Again, clearly pushing hard at the moment. It's good stuff to watch as Finn Kelly makes a move on Big Chitch, and Wolfboy, I believe, loses 2 positions. I think that's what the leaderboard told me. Roscoe on 3 seconds. Spilly slots himself now into 4th place. Jay Banks, 5th place, and on the medium compound tyre as well on the alternate strategy. So he's got good track position and he's on the alternate strategy. So it'll be interesting to see how Mr. Banks's race will turn out as all of the soft runners in front go into the pits. Let's see, amazing out onto the medium tyre. What about Hazard? He too is going onto the mediums. Anyone gambling on the softs, I wonder? Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like that at all. Look at that leaderboard. It's all changing to the medium compound. Almost no one's on the softs except for the drivers who started on it. Now Jay Banks is your new race leader. And he can stay out there for about 12 to 14 laps, I imagine. I think it's about 12 to 14 on those medium tyres, so he can run a fair way into this race before he has to box. As Finn makes a mistake and lets Big Chitch past for reasons unknown to me. These guys were all in Diamond at one point, and they're now fighting each other in Masters. Good to see that's carrying over a little bit. ACW in behind this as well. So we got a nice 4-way fight, and Kelly, I think, is going to try and move here down the inside into turn 12, and he does so successfully. Bodhod is trying to make an opportunity happen. Oh, a little bit of contact, but it's not much. It's respectful driving at this point.
Oh, it's Bodhod. As all this is happening, Ella Amazing I was right behind them as well. So he's got a lot of traffic to cut through.
There's the current race leader, well, provisional race leader in the form of Amazing Al, yeah. He's got a little bit to deal with, and 2 drivers go in.
So that was amazing how I was going to go for a move down the inside of ACW, but obviously 2 cars late into the pits. He had to dive back behind ACW as he might go around the outside here on him.
Yep, he's going to try. Oh, wow. No way. And he's going to get the drive out of the corner as well as Chich makes a mistake. Down the inside goes Amazing Hour into turn 2, now turn 3. Big Chich, he lets off the gas just a hint to try and make sure he doesn't collide with Amazing Hour as ACW.
Oh,
that makes a move.
Very nice.
As Chich, just on that sort of awkward racing line, on the marbles, he wasn't able to get the grip down. Just got a whole heap of understeer and, yeah, slid off wide, and ACW just swooped in down the inside. Mackenzie Stewart, now a 3-second time penalty. Oh, dearie me. Seeing a fair few of those at the moment. Actually, while all that was going on, Aaron has found a way past Macca. So, battle for second is well and truly on in this race. And if Macca isn't careful and he gets another penalty, then these two are on equal terms. So, this may turn into quite the interesting battle. If it allows itself to be. I hope it turns into an interesting battle. Let's look at this. The train behind that. All of these guys in this train with Hazard, then Wafer, then Spilly, Wogboy, Crossy. All of these guys are on the same strategy as well as Bodhod and Finn are now fighting it out. At the hairpin. Oh, dear me, backhand stepping out a little bit there. You're battling absolutely everywhere. Surely Chich is in the pit lane. No, he stays out. What is this Ferrari master strategy that we are witnessing here today? I wonder what it's going to look like. Perhaps he's doing the one stop. See how that works out for him. But it's going to be a lot of work on those hard tyres. Either that or he's just praying for a safety car to come out. Shake things up a little bit. Either way, he finds himself in 4th place on very old soft tyres. It's going to be a sitting duck compared to the rest of the field. Speaking of which, Aaron's now caught onto the back of him. Hazard gets a 3-second time penalty. Into turn 11. You can see here Aaron will get a far better exit on those fresher tyres. Got way more grip. He'll just slingshot, I think. Here we go. So now side by side between the two. You'll just easily move on by. Down the inside into turn 12. Sector 2 yellows. Oh, it's ACW! He spun! He spun out. No damage though. Thankfully for him. And no safety car either. So, oh, hang on. What's this? Tau. I think. Oh, he's lost it in the S's. Just needs to try and recover the car, not spin out. And be careful not to get disqualified either for driving the wrong way down the circuit. Wafer gets a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. That's a very odd place to crash for Tau. Oh my word, what have I gone into? Wafer, ACW. Where's Chich? Oh, Chich is in the pits. I was gonna say, where is that Ferrari? He's in the pit lane. Oh, and an almighty send from Wogboy. A fantastic move for 8th place. Wow, wait, what is this battle? What? Crossy, a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. What an exceptional battle this is turning out to be between these guys, battling for 5th place at the moment.
Yeah, the mini-map is just them clustered together. They're so close.
And here comes Crossy down the inside. Very easy move. ACW doesn't put up too much of a fight. He knows he's on the alternate strategy.
Yeah, and his tyres might be hindered from that spin, so he still might be recovering the temps.
That's very true as well. But now Tal, I think he's going to try and peel into the pits. No, he's backwards again. He gets it into first gear. He'll have to flick spin it round. Ooh, don't go into the barrier. He goes into the barrier. There's Banks, your current race leader, leading by 3.7 seconds. Aaron gets a 3-second time penalty, so he's now on 9. Tao goes in very slowly,
Very
making
gingerly.
sure he makes sure he doesn't get a penalty. He really doesn't want one of those. Oh dear. But I hope he's going to keep soldiering on. You never know. You just never know. Anything can happen in Formula One. And you have to look at the 2020 Italian Grand Prix to understand that. At the moment.
Amazing. I was actually cut that time down to 3 seconds towards Jay Banks.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see where Jay Banks falls when he pits around. The alternate strategy pits around lap 16. Does it? Or is it 10 laps on the softs? Lap 18.
No, that's if.
Oh, that's if he does a one stop.
That's if he does a one stop. That's who's that Towel off the circuit again? Backwards. He'll get back onto the racetrack and get going again. These are some awkward places to lose it. I've never seen someone lose it. Where's that? Turn 6. Just before the end of Sector 1. He did pit for fresh rubber as well.
Yeah, so there still must have been a slightly cold, causing just have a driver error. But we can't really look away from this. Oh, is Macca Stew? I think he's just made a mistake. He has. I caught it just at the end of it. Just loses the back end.
So that's absolutely massive for him.
Caught onto the grass.
He's in the battle for second place with Aaron. Aaron just claimed another penalty, so Macca, I believe, has got 3. Aaron's got 9, but now the gap between the two, 4.5 seconds. That's a very costly error. Fortunately, though, there's no damage on the Renault from what I can see, so doesn't have to worry too much. He just needs to put his head down, try and claw that time back. That's a massive hurdle that he just tripped over. But looking back at this, what is this going through the first sector? This cluster of cars. It's just unbelievable, honestly. Hazard leading Wafer, leading Spilly, leading Wogboy, leading Crossy. Just been in behind that is ACW. These guys have been clustered together pretty much all the way through the race as Tal has retired in. So we're going to have 14 finishes at this stage. Hazard's trying to break the toe, rather understandably, just a bit of weaving on the racetrack, just to try and break that slipstream and see the cars bunch up at the braking zone. Get very close to each other, close enough to touch, but they don't in the end. They keep it clean and get no damage. A little bit of locking up from the cars behind in P6 and 7. But that gap between the top two is now starting to close, isn't it? 1.2 seconds now. Those fresher medium tyres really coming into their own. And J Banks will have absolutely nothing in defence. That is an awkward way for an AI to pull up a car. Very.
Really picked a weak spot. I know. Really picked a weak spot.
The way it parked up as well. It almost parked up perpendicular to the racetrack. That was odd. Anyway. But honestly, the fact that the game allows that to happen, to allow the car to just roll out onto the racetrack, is just dumb. But anywho, as Amazing Now, I think it's going to make a very easy move on J Banks. Down the inside into turn 12. Seen it time and time again here, and he slots it down the inside and retakes the lead here at Kota with, I think that's 14 laps. Well, it'll be 13 and a half laps to go-ish. So now, Amazing Hour on fresh medium tyres is able to put the hammer down, set some consistent lap times and pull away from the chasing pack. Now, does Banks go into the pits just yet? No, he stays out. So yeah, he might be pushing to about lap 18 or so. Strap on the soft tyres and go to the end of the race. He'll be very quick in sort of that opening 5-6 laps compared to the rest of the field, but for those final 4 or so, those soft tyres are going to be a bit of a handful. Soft tyres don't really work too well in race conditions around this circuit. medium tyre is easily the best tyre to go on. The hard tyre is just avoid it at all costs if you can. Only use it if you desperately need to. If you have realistically no other choice to use it. Banksy's doing a decent enough job at the moment. With the cars around him also having to do pit stops, he's technically in second place because, yeah, pretty much everyone will have to make another stop at some stage.
Yeah, and with that 7-second lead, he'll probably drop to around 7th. Probably drop within this pack.
Yeah, pretty much. But again, like everyone in here still has to make another stop. So
yeah,
the fact that he'll jump down to 7th, he'll jump back up into second once everyone comes into the pits again. So, but he'll have way older tyres in comparison to the rest of the field. He'll be pretty much a sitting duck compared to those on fresh rubber. Well, fresh rubber. Looking back, what's happening back here? Chich and Kelly fighting again, locking up the both of them. These aren't for point scoring positions, they're outside the top 10, but they're fighting hard it seems. Locking up left, right and centre, they must be pushing quite hard. Triple right hander. Half a second separate between the two. It's fantastic to see. Oh, it's Finn, that's a massive moment. Oh my word. How on earth did the car do that? It just drove right into the time area. 10-second time penalty, which is absolute garbage. But I guess he just lost the back end. It sort of did that AI thing that you sometimes see in career mode, where the AI wants to go for a move. It sort of moves left and it moves right and completely loses control of the car. That's exactly what happened to Finn. At the exit of the long right-handers, he has to make a wing change and onto another set of medium tyres. But yeah, the back end stepping out, he had to correct, I guess, and just smack bang into the tyre barrier. Luckily, it's not a retirement for him.
Yeah, because if there was a retirement in that sector, that would have definitely spiced up the entirety of this race, giving everyone that free pit stop, especially going off the mediums. Probably put another set of mediums to finish off the race. But this train, it just seems to be just a bit of a towing fest as J Banks goes into pit. So we'll see that he'll probably go onto the onto the soft compound till the end of the race. But yeah, look, these guys are just towing each other. They're not particularly, making moves. I don't think they're close enough.
Oh, they're not quite close enough. Like, there's some guys almost up to each other's gearboxes, but because each driver has DRS, as Wogboy sends it up the inside and collides with the gaming wafer at the apex of turn 1. So he's forced the issue, he's had enough, he wants to move up. Now Spilly Crossy and Spilly, side by side. Crossy slots himself now into 7th place. Spilly pretty much the loser out of that. Down a few positions from where he was. Wogboy gets a 3-second time penalty. Yeah, Wogboy. Wow, he really forced it.
Yeah, Spilly lost 2 positions from that because he had to pull out going into the S's in Sector 1. So
hello. Biffing and barging there.
I think from Wogboy's move, I think that's woken up the rest of the drivers to go, you know what? I think it's time. I think it's time to really start making some moves. And hopefully they can try and split through.
It's pretty much all or nothing, I guess. As Spilly makes a move on the gaming wafer down the inside, he forces the issue with Crossy at turn 12. They're now side by side, heading up to turn 13. Around the outside, no. It's Crossy, but Spilly gets a fantastic switchback. Does Crossy send it? No, but Wafer most certainly does. Down the inside of Crossy at turn 15. He takes 7th place away from the McLaren. Sector 1 yellow flags. That's turn 6.
Yeah.
That's the same place Tao ends off. Interesting. Oh, a bit earlier on, but more or less the same place. But he's still going along. Hasn't given up quite just yet. Oh, dear me.
If you've noticed, if you notice from Wogboy's move into turn 1, it's caused everyone to start doing the same kind of battles instead of just doing the tow, and he's pulled 1.4 seconds away. So Wogboy knew he had the pace. All he had to do was just get past, and he did that by definitely sending it into turn 1, which is a great move. Obviously, it forced Spilly out wide, losing 2 positions, but he gained those positions back. As the game Wafers, nearly losing the back end of the car there. That dirty air through there is just so difficult for these drivers.
I mean, ideally, you would like to make moves without making any sort of contact, but I suppose, thankfully for both cars, well, all cars involved, really, that they haven't got any damage from the looks of things. These guys are really starting to fight, and Banks is now in this battle as well in 8th. The window for the medium runners to pit to the soft tyre and go to the end of the race. As Banks makes a move, what does gaining Wafer do? Not much. He can't really counter-attack at the moment. But yeah, everyone around him need to make pit stops, so once they do that, Banks is in some pretty clear air, and he can put the hammer down. Really try and pull away from some of his rivals, but again, those tyres will really deteriorate towards the end. He's going to struggle quite a bit. But these guys seem to be closing up together once again. Wogboy caught onto the back of Harry. There you go. He has DRS. He's using overtake. Probably has it in Rich Mix as well. Sector 2 yellows. That's Finn. Has a sort of defending the inside line there. He's aware of what Wogboy did earlier, so he sort of covers that inside line. Just double checking, I suppose, just making sure Wogboy doesn't think about it. Through the high speed S's, this is where Wogboy will lose just a smidgen's worth of time with the lack of aerodynamic grip. Through turn 9, using as much of the curb as he can. Spilly now under attack from Banks, and Banks slingshots on by into 6th place. It's been a superb drive from the Alpha Tauri driver from 16th up to 6th. If I'm not mistaken, yep, up 10 positions at the moment. All these guys around him have to make a pit stop. So, Banks has really put the hammer down on those fresh softs. He is so much quicker than the guys around him. Now he's got his teammate to try and get by. I'm sure this isn't going to be too much of a fight. It has a bit of a moment at turn 14. Turn 15, locking up. Is Hazard through the triple right-hander. Now, is Harry going to dive into the pits? Pretty close to that window. Doesn't look like it, so he's going to probably let his teammate by. Down here at the pit straight, DRS open, overtake mode engage, as Harry rather smartly doesn't put up too much of a fight. Slingshots on by, into 4th place now. Into turn 1, no dive bombs it seems. And we might see a couple more towards the end of the race, so we are getting towards that sort of point. Unless, of course, all of these medium runners are planning to go to the end of the race.
You can. It's just how well you go with your tires, because if you keep locking up, that front left is going to be so cooked. Tire temperatures on the softs is a major issue. It's not really the tire wear, but the temps near the end of the near the stint is just.
Finn is out. He's crashed. Has he?
Crashed.
Yep. Where is he? Oh, that missed him. Virtual safety car deployed. He's lost it at the S's. So we have 3 retirements. I failed to consider that, whether these guys are actually going to try and stay out that sort of length. I mean, these guys pretty much all pitted around, let's see, lap 8 or so to go onto the medium tyre.
Yeah.
They have to carry quite a fair distance.
The last game strategy was a one-stop onto the mediums, because the mediums don't particularly die. Oh, amazing hour. Getting all loosey-goosey there in the back end there.
Getting all loosey-goosey in the final sector, as the back Vastal once quoted. But yeah, okay.
But it's it really depends how much you lock up, really, because it's about that left front that does all the heavy lifting on this track. So it's really how the drivers go. They can, but it's got to be a bit of a risk factor. It could pop in the last lap. Definitely safe to go to the 2-stop, especially if you got the speed.
Yeah. Oh, it's just interesting to see these guys really stretching the softs to medium stint. But yeah, that I wouldn't be too surprised if these tyres didn't get towards puncture territory at that stage. And then it's pretty much all up to RNG at that point.
Yeah.
Really in the hands of the gods to make sure you don't get a puncture. Like I've seen drivers carry the tyres almost into the 90%ers and not get a puncture. And I've heard drivers who go instantly into the 75s and just bang, tyres gone. So
yeah, it's really the roll of the dice. Could be one curb too many. Really could be one wave. It really could be anything. It's just such a random time. It can happen. So tyre wear is very critical if you're doing a one-stop here in the mediums. As most of these drivers, I believe, is what's going to happen unless a safety car comes out. Then we'll see every single one go into the softs. Like lockups from Mogboy from that is going to cook that front left. And hopefully... but we can't really go past what Jay Banks has done in this session in particular. Started at 16th. He didn't get a qualifying lap in once again, and he's done a fantastic performance on the alternate strategy, going on the mediums into softs. But it all depends here. He's actually he's within the second here of Macastrew, so he can even jump into P3 here.
He can, most certainly. He's got 6 seconds worth of penalties as well, does Mr. Banks. Mac has only got 3. Aaron, if I remember correctly, has got 9, which he does. Amazing. He's got 2 warnings next to his name. So Banks, he might be able to get past Macca, but he's got a little bit of work to do to try and keep that 3rd place. He has to try and pull out a 3-second margin as he's now going to go for a move.
Does the move before the DRS even turns on for him. He just had such a better exit, and he's away. So only 3 seconds to Aaron. So, and he's got a few laps to do so. He can see him just up the road. So we could potentially see him get a P2 here, especially with that 9 seconds that Aaron has. So yeah, J-Banks from 16th to 2nd. Crazy. What would have happened if he was on the front row? We'll never know.
We'll never know indeed. But regardless, it's been a fantastic recovery drive. Now he's lining himself up for a podium here, but potentially 2nd place. So long as he doesn't get another penalty, he's already got it. But he'll lose out to Macca in the end as well for that 2nd place. So he needs to pull a 3-second margin to Mackenzie, and he needs to stay within 3 seconds of GeForce Aaron, or try and overtake GeForce Aaron, of course.
And the battle for P10 is spicing up with the Tier 2s promoted to Tier 1 having a go at each other, the Mercedes and Ferrari squad. As Bot-Hot on those softs just goes down the inside, gets the move done, but he's got ACW right behind as well.
These guys battling it out furiously for the final point. They would all want it, that's for sure, to get that one singular point for themselves and for their team. 3 different teams as well. None of them are teammates, so it's going to be pretty much all-out war as ACW gets a 3-second time penalty. Ahead though, that this match is still going.
That's a flashback. ACW punts Big Chich in the same turn he got punted previously last night, and SD gives him a bit of a receipt there, as well, have a bit of a replay. Just ACW just goes so much heavier on the brakes, just damage towards ACW from that incident as well. But I think SD is legit having flashbacks on Thursday. Aaron pits.
Aaron's in the pits. Okay, this is interesting. Why has he done this? Onto the soft tyre. I guess he feels he can't make it to the end.
Yeah.
He knows he's got 9 seconds, but the worst he would get is 4th place, which is a lot better than 8th, if my calculations are correct. Scratch that, 9th. So I'm guessing he feels that his medium tyres couldn't go to the end of the race. So there's going to be a few question marks for those drivers still out there on the track at the moment. Can those tyres actually go to the end, I wonder? Well, I don't think Amazing Hour would be of too much concern. He's been in clear air for pretty much all of this race. So he's probably been able to manage his tyres far better, as ACW has actually retired in the pit lane. That's now 4 retirements, lining ourselves up for 12 finishes with 3 laps to go when Amazing Hour crosses the start-finish line. As Hazard and Wogboy, Spilly, they're still fighting it out for 4th place. This has been a race-long battle between these fellas. It's been absolutely amazing to watch. Not a lot of contact between these guys as well. There's a few force. Generally good stuff to watch. Through the second last corner goes Hazard, then Wogboy, then Spilly. GeForce Crossy gets a 3-second time penalty. And they're still fighting it out there, these guys. They're going to try and get these tyres to the end, it seems. Just Aaron's sort of done a Verstappen. He's pitted onto the softs, because he's kind of to make sure. When he gets to the end, he'll be able to put down some really quick laps as well.
So that would have compromised a bit of his tyre wear overall. So he's done the safe thing instead of risking it to just a random generator of when the wheels are going to pop, to bring it into the pits and not lose 12 positions. Just go in pit and still get like fastest lap as well as maybe seeing the rest of the grid pit as well. But there's only 2 laps to go here at Coda, so looks like these medium runners are potentially going to make it. We may even see a few punctures, but like these guys have been battling the whole time, so this is going to be anyone's game here.
Yeah, so it's going to be a massive roll of the dice for these medium runners as Wogboy runs wide at turn 15. So yeah, these guys are literally now in the hands of Codemasters, and when their tyres pop, if they haven't been able to manage them as well as they should. So we're closing in on 2 laps to go. Amazing Hour comfortably in the lead. 13.8 seconds separating him to Jay Banks. After an astonishing drive, and GeForce Aaron gets fastest lap with a 32.2, as you'd expect on those fresh tyres. Really able to put the hammer down.
Yeah, he got dealt a nice hand there with GeForce Crossy letting him go on the triple right-hander in Sector 3. So he's got 2 laps and I reckon he'll be on the back of this pack here, but it's going to be quite difficult to get past all 3 unless you get dealt a nice hand and just slide through the DRS, because he's already on the back of him now. So
yeah,
you might.
And these guys have been slaving away, trying to keep these positions. They're not going to give them up that easily. They have fought tooth and nail to try and keep themselves in these positions. So yeah, Aaron's got a fair amount of work to do. As Billy might set up a move here, he moves to the inside, heading into turn 12. A very simple move. Wogboy doesn't put up too much of a fight as Aaron gets another 3-second time penalty, increasing his tally to 12 seconds. So even though he might be able to try and get his way past, I don't know how the penalties are going to...
yeah, it's really going to be a scatter here, because we've seen so many names pop up.
So Hazard got 6, Spilly's got 6, Wogboy has got 3. So Wogboy's the best poise, I think, out of this lot. So Aaron, even though he'll find a way past probably a couple of these guys,
he'll fall back down again.
Yeah.
This has definitely put a dent in his championship woes as he sends it on Spilly. Absolutely sends it, and his medium's actually going to hold up. So they're going to go side by side here, and then Aaron, who finally finds the grip on those softs, maintains that position. But yeah, this is destroyed the streak of P2s across the board on the standings, and it'll be and most likely, like we were saying, from the penalty points, from the time penalties given to all these drivers, I think he's got to fall down to 8th.
Actually, yeah, it's not looking good for Aaron at all. But he didn't want to take the risk after battling so hard on those tyres. I guess he just felt like he needed to stop. GeForce Crossy has left the session, but I don't think he'll lose any positions. He'll be classified as well. He's done the race distance.
Yeah.
But so is this man. LR Amazing Hour. 6 out of 6 now. A dominant display here at Circuit of the Americas. He wins the United States Grand Prix. Jay Banks from 16th, plumb last, all the way up to second. What a superb recovery for him. A superb drive as well from Mackenzie Stewart in P3. GeForce Aaron finds himself in fourth, but ultimately time penalties will bump him down. To Macca in third.
Oh, puncture! Hazard's got a puncture.
Oh, puncture!
He had a puncture on the second to last corner, and he went so deep, and he actually lost the position. And Aaron stays in 6th position, his lowest finishing position of the season. Bodhod, phenomenal P8. Oh, actually, SD Big T just came out of nowhere, claiming P9.
He finishes just inside the top 10 and Wafer in 10th place. Unbelievable. What a race we had. For the guys in the midfield, at least. The man out in front had a very clinical and dominant display of driving. So dominant that I barely got a look at it, to be honest. I was too intrigued of what's happening behind in the midfield. But what a win. What a dominant display. That's the only way I can really describe it, to be honest. Win 6 out of 6 for Amazing Hour. Jay Banks finishing in 2nd place with Mackenzie Stewart in 3rd. I believe that's the first podium for Banks, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I probably am wrong. I'm pretty sure that might be his first podium of the season. There we go.
I believe that you might be right there, but wow, look at those penalties. But LR Amazing Hour once again, time 6 on the board here. P1, Jay Banks, phenomenal experience here, 16th to 2nd place, and Macastew on the podium in P3, Spilly P4, Wogboy P5, Aaron P6, Azamania P7, and Bodhod, Big Chich, and Gameware fill out the top 10 in 8th, 9th, and 10th. And GeForce Crossy falls down the board into 11th.
So it's actually his 2nd podium. He got a 3rd place finish at Abu Dhabi. So this is podium number 2 for him. But there we go. This podium number 2 as well for Mackenzie Stewart. So equaling his best finish of the season so far in 3rd. So some really good displays of driving from those at the top of the field, and some fantastic battles in the midfield as well.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal race. We'll get these drivers in for some post-race interviews, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to the Tier 1 Masters post-race interviews here at Dynamic Nights Esports. We have Macca Stew with us at the moment. Amazing Hour is joining us shortly, and Jay Banks has gone to sleep. He deserves it after that 16th to 2nd performance. I'll leave it for you once again, Smaggy Boy, to do the interviews.
No, you're gonna leave it to me again, are you? Okay, then.
You probably have notes written down of all the past questions.
Oh, I haven't written stuff down.
But we do have it's not the same rinse and repeat podium this week. Oh, by
No,
one. So it's actually a bit different.
like one, but
Yeah.
it's a little different. We always spice it up here at Dynamic Nights Esports. But no, Maka, first of all, congratulations on your third place, mate. Very, very well done. Your second, third place of the championship season thus far. How was your race in general around Kota in qualifying and in the race?
Qualifying was quite annoying. Yeah, the first laps I did was about 20 minutes before the race.
Yeah.
So, yeah, your practice time this week's been kept to an absolute minimum. But yeah, considering the fact, I was like P1 for like half that session until Andrew decided to show up and fuck off. But yeah. So I was actually quite happy with to start P5, and then the race got up to P3 at the start. Almost got P2 quite early on, but then Andrew and Aaron were going at it quite hard. It looked like a couple of times that they were going to take each other out, or looked like that something dangerous might have happened. So I was just sitting back, letting that battle unfold. But then once Andrew got out of Aaron's DRS, I was like, I need to start pushing here. So I managed to get past Aaron for like a little bit of the race, and then it was just touch and go from there. He got back past, and then I had a little mistake out of the double left-hander, lost the rear, and then I was just trying to keep that gap within 6 seconds, so I could get P2. I didn't realize how quick Josh would be at the end of that race. He came out of absolutely nowhere. So it's great drive from him to 16th to 2nd. It's a good result for the CPI boys, but Andrew's just on another planet at the moment. He's that man needs his fanny tech taken off him in a practice bed. Honestly, we need to clip the cord on his accelerator pedal, and we'll be good.
We'll be good. Oh dear, man. You made mention of that battle with Aaron. How was it out there battling with Aaron? Was it good fun?
To be fair though, it was actually wasn't much battling. To be fair, it was just
following.
It was just one dive bomb and then stayed ahead of him, and then he dived me at one and kind of pushed him off a little bit. But it was he definitely had the pace to run P2. I don't understand why he stopped. Probably he would have had at least P4 if he'd. I guess it just depends on penalties as well. But we had like 4 or 5 seconds back to those guys anyway, so he might have been all right to finish maybe 4th or 5th. But I guess he wanted the fast lap and extra points, so it is what it is. But gosh, what is next week's race? Let's do
Vietnam.
Spicy. It is a very, very unforgiving circuit, that one. It is unforgiving. It's going to be spicy.
It'll be different.
No. It's just gonna be a battle for P2 boys. Andrew's already won it, so it doesn't matter.
I've got 10 experience of this. That it's actually kind of dumb how quick he is around there.
He's pulling like 32 8s in quali, 32 7s in quali. So, I don't think anyone's getting near that. So, I'll see you for the battle for P2 next week, boys.
His move to wheel is probably the best thing he's ever done. He has evolved mentally from the start that he joined at 2019 mid-season to now is crazy.
I mean, when you play 7 hours a day, 7 days a week, you're bound to find some improvement. Like, I mean,
A
like
little
Yeah.
the dude doesn't go outside.
Oh, you can't really at this stage. We're all in lockdown. What else is there to do?
What else is he meant to do?
Exactly.
But yeah,
Wow.
no, but like even on a normal day, the dude still doesn't go outside. So like again, Clippers accelerator accelerator pedal cable, and practice ban. Force him to start at the back next week for Vietnam. He can enjoy that midfield, and we might actually have a spicy race next week.
We'll give him one of my throttling pedals. Might actually spice it up a little because yeah.
No throw.
No,
No, you might
throttling.
practice reverse grips or something. That might shake things up a little bit. Maybe.
Wild card
That's the
round.
way.
Just for him.
That annoying. That'll be something else.
I'm flying to Tassie to. Oh, you're beautiful.
Write it down so then I don't forget. There we go. But also, how are your medium tires at the end of the race? 'Cause-
I think there's about 77% on the front. Yeah, like the last lap and a half. Basically once Josh got past, I just backed it off a little bit because I didn't want to. Because I think Harry got a puncture right at the end, and he stopped like 2 laps later than what I did.
yeah, so
So
yeah,
no, the whole puncture range on this game seemed bloody stupid because I think Tao was explaining before the race that in another race that he's done in the last week, he like one of the guys stopped like 3 or 4 laps later than him, and he
got a punch.
and the guy that stopped later got the puncture.
We mentioned it a couple of times that it's probably just RNG. As soon as you hit sort of 70 to 75%, you're basically in the hands of Codemasters and when that tire is going to go.
Yeah,
It
pretty
seemed-
much. Yeah.
But yeah, we were wondering that because we were thinking that's perhaps the reason why Aaron went into the pits when he did. Because you're right, he would have held on to P4, I think, even with the penalties. So
Yeah, because I noticed while I was following that he was struggling quite. Well, I mean, like that's probably just a pad thing though. But yeah, he was struggling quite a lot through the first sector and then like the first half of the second sector before you come out on the hill.
okay,
So yeah, hopefully, well, I mean, I wouldn't say hopefully, but yeah, it's it'll be interesting to see like how USA goes for the other leagues when we actually get to it because you guys are weird and actually put USA like the first 6 rounds of the championship when it's usually like 18.
It's not linear crap. We want you to be on your toes.
Yeah, spice it up.
Spice it
Yeah,
up.
I hate spice. Stick to the status quo.
You want that bland chicken, man. You want that.
Yeah, mate.
You want that poached chicken, dude. You want that thing. You want that thing steamed.
Yes, sir.
He doesn't even like.
Say no to that.
He doesn't even like pepper. Come on, man.
No spice whatsoever.
No, just plain. Just,
That should be right, Vietnam.
It'll
Not
be
really.
Just keep it out of the fence, and yeah, you should be good for like a top 5,
fair
maybe.
Yeah.
But no, congrats on the P3, Mac. Second of the season. Hopefully, they'll sort of kickstart some good results, and you can build up a really good championship around this sort of thing. So
Yeah, well,
that
top,
will be the plan
top
anyway.
4 is the aim. Maybe third if I can. Yeah, if I can beat Josh, but yeah, it's like top 4 is definitely the aim. I think Andrew and Aaron are already out of reach, so yeah, it's just gonna be consolidating the result in the season.
Yeah.
And then stress out about other things in due course.
No, well done on your third, and congratulations on your second podium.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Now, where's our race winner?
I think he's
Technical
still
difficulties.
having some technical difficulties, but thank you, Macastrew, for joining us. We'll see what we can do, but at this stage we might have to just cut it a little bit short for him.
Just cut it. Who cares about Andrew? You've already spoken him to the last 5 races in a row. Fucking
I mean, you're not wrong, Macca. But...
give your stream a break from having to listen to his yada yada yada.
He has some long answers. I won't lie, but sometimes it's nice to listen to him.
Oh no, it's not. Smeg, you're lying to yourself if you're giving that answer with a straight face. No cap.
I'm trying to be nice here, Macca.
Thanks for that, Marco.
You can't sugarcoat it, mate. Don't be a pussy.
Thanks for that, Marco. We'll hopefully see you next week at Vietnam.
Sure. We're going back to Nam, boys.
Going back to Nam, baby.
Going back to Nam. Oh boy, that's gonna be something.
It's unfortunate that we can't have Amazing Hour in. Unfortunately, yeah, he can join other voice channels on other ones. He just can't seem to join on this one. It's just one of those nights. But we can't really look past his performances at all from week 1 all the way to currently week 6. He's done a phenomenal effort. He would most likely talk about how he's got pole position comfortably by 6/10. Absolutely crazy performance. The small battle that he had, the first 3 laps before he got into the air, and then obviously maintaining tyres to the end of the race. But yeah, you can't look past his work, especially his work ethic that Macca Stew mentioned, that practice does matter. It really does in this tier. And it really shows that he's putting the hours in to show that he's going to just dominate this tier. So if we had another tier, we would promote him and he'll be by himself racing against some 200 AI if we can cap it higher than that. But is there any other things you want to mention before we close the stream up for this week and close the battle, the thing for Coda? Oh, we do have Coda tomorrow, but for Coda for the Pacific tier.
No, not much. Just, can anyone stop this guy? 6 races in, 6 wins. It's been dominant. That's the only way you can describe it. This first 6 weeks, and we're going to Vietnam, which I know Andrew is quick at. I did a Trans Nations race there, a commentator Trans Nations race that Macca participated in, and he was near on perfect for that entire race, and he won it by like 30 seconds. So these guys have got an almighty mountain to climb, it seems. So we'll see if anyone can reach the summit that Amazing Hour has at Vietnam. I guess we just have to wait and see.
Yeah, it really comes down to that. But that will be the end of the Masters stream tonight. Tomorrow morning, 10 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, is the Purple US tier, which is for the US people, 8 p.m. Eastern. There will be the final tier round Coda for this week. I will be doing commentary with Charles Leclerc, also known as Josh. He will be continuing with me just to practice his English, so give him a little bit of slack, guys. It's his second language, so he'll be joining me, and we'll have a nice time. And probably Dougie will pop in here and there for interviews, as well as commentating with us, as well as the GT3 that will be happening Saturday as well at 8 p.m. That will be around Spa with the GT3 cars, and then Sunday is the PC tier, which will not be streamed, but we'll have a hell of a good time. And then the following week is Monday, and we're back, and we're going to Vietnam. So that will be a crazy week. That is going to be incident galore. Safety car will have to refuel a few times, I have a feeling, around that circuit, as the PC tier's already done it, and we know it's a bit of a tricky track. But that will do us here at Dynamic Nights Esports. We'll see you next time tomorrow. Goodbye.